Jacob C. Miller. Jacob C. Miller, a Union soldier, defied all odds in one of the most extraordinary survival stories of the Civil War. Struck by a bullet directly between the eyes during the chaos of 1863, he miraculously lived to tell the tale. His incredible journey didn't end there. Miller defied medical expectations and lived for an astonishing 54 years after sustaining such a fatal wound. This extraordinary case of survival has captivated the public imagination for generations. Nieves Fernandez demonstrates her long knife. The photograph depicts Nieves Fernandez, a Filipino guerrilla leader during World War II, demonstrating her knife-fighting skills to an American soldier in 1944. Fernandez was known for her exceptional combat abilities and leadership, leading a group of 110 men in numerous successful attacks against the Japanese Imperial Army. Her group was responsible for killing over 200 Japanese soldiers, earning her the nickname the Silent Killer. Sir Malcolm Campbell and Bluebird, 1935. Sir Malcolm Campbell was a British racing legend who became famous for his pursuit of speed records on both land and water. He named all his record-breaking vehicles Bluebird. With his innovative engineering, Campbell broke numerous land speed records and later conquered water speed records as well, leaving an enduring legacy in the world of motorsports. His son, Donald Campbell, continued the family's tradition of speed, carrying the Bluebird name to even greater heights. U.S. Marines Enewetak Island Coffee, 1944. The photograph captures a poignant moment of reprieve for U.S. Marines in the aftermath of the ferocious Battle of Enewetak, a pivotal engagement in the Gilbert and Marshall Islands campaign of February 1944. These battle-worn soldiers, having endured the relentless rigors of combat against entrenched Japanese forces, find themselves aboard ship, momentarily removed from the front lines. The simple act of drinking coffee becomes a symbol of resilience and the human spirit's indomitable capacity to seek comfort amidst chaos. The attack on Pearl Harbor, 1941. The infamous attack on Pearl Harbor occurred on December 7, 1941. This surprise military strike by the Imperial Japanese Navy Air Service on the U.S. Naval base in Hawaii marked a pivotal turning point in history, propelling the United States into World War II. The devastating attack, which inflicted significant damage on the Pacific Fleet, galvanized American public opinion and unified the nation in its resolve to defeat the Axis powers. Execution by cannon, 1890. The photograph depicts a man tied to the mouth of a cannon in Shiraz, Iran, in 1890. This was a common method of execution known as blowing from a gun. The condemned individual was typically tied to the muzzle of the cannon, and then the cannon was fired. This method was used in various parts of the world for centuries, including India, where it was employed by both native and colonial rulers. Ralph Fons gets thrown from his car. Ralph Fons, a 20-year-old Chicago driver, experienced a terrifying ordeal at the Hammond Raceway in 1939. During a 10-lap consolation race, his car became entangled with Curtis Cyclone Ross's, resulting in a violent crash that ejected Fons from the vehicle. Miraculously, he survived the harrowing incident. This dramatic event, captured in a photograph from the Wayne Adams collection, serves as a stark reminder of the inherent dangers faced by early race car drivers. World War II female Soviet snipers. Soviet women defied traditional gender roles and emerged as formidable forces on the battlefield during World War II. A testament to their courage and skill is the staggering statistic of 775 confirmed kills collectively achieved by a group of female snipers by 1945. These extraordinary women, often overlooked in historical narratives, shattered stereotypes and proved their valor in the face of adversity. Their bravery and marksmanship made them a feared and respected presence on the front lines, contributing significantly to the Soviet war effort. The Kwakiutl people going to a wedding, 1914. The photograph taken in British Columbia in 1914 actually captures a far more significant cultural event, the potlatch. However, the potlatch serves a multifaceted purpose within Kwakiutl society, encompassing elements of wealth display, social status affirmation, and the strengthening of community bonds. It's a complex ritual adorned with elaborate costumes, dances, and storytelling, far exceeding the scope of a traditional wedding ceremony. Crewmen lifting Kenneth Bratton out of turret of TBF 1943. The image depicts a harrowing moment during a naval operation. Crew members are exerting immense effort to lift Kenneth Bratton from the confines of a TBF turret. The gravity of the situation is palpable, as the urgency in their faces mirrors the perilous circumstances Bratton must have endured. This photograph serves as a stark reminder of the courage and camaraderie displayed by those serving in the armed forces, particularly in the face of life-threatening challenges. Howard Rogers. Howard Rogers, the mastermind behind Polaroid's iconic instant color photography, stands as a testament to tireless experimentation and scientific pursuit. In 1963, he was captured in a photograph surrounded by a staggering 5,000 bottles of chemicals, each representing a step forward in his quest to develop the groundbreaking color film process. This visual representation encapsulates the sheer scale of the challenge and the monumental effort undertaken to bring instant color imagery to life. Satsuma students to Western countries in the Keio era. During the Keio era, a pivotal period in Japanese history, a group of young men from the Satsuma domain embarked on a transformative journey to Western countries. This bold initiative was a strategic response to the growing realization that Japan needed to modernize to compete on the global stage. These students, exposed to Western technology, culture, and political systems, returned to Japan as catalysts for change. Their experiences and knowledge were instrumental in the Meiji Restoration. Cigar-making Cuba. Cuba in 1910 was synonymous with cigar making. The island's rich, fertile soil produced tobacco of unparalleled quality, and the skilled hands of its people transformed these leaves into the world-renowned Cuban cigar. In bustling factories, often filled with the rhythmic sounds of rolling tobacco, artisans meticulously crafted each cigar by hand. These factories were a vibrant tapestry of human activity, where men and women worked side by side, their fingers nimble and expert. 4 generations of soldiers, all in one picture. Imagine a single photograph encapsulating the raw courage and sacrifice of 4 generations of American servicemen. A Civil War veteran, weathered by the trials of the 1860s, stands alongside a comrade from the Spanish-American War, whose eyes hold the echoes of a conflict that marked the turn of the 20th century. Beside them, a World War I veteran, bearing the scars of the Great War, shares the frame with a final figure, a World War II soldier representing the ultimate sacrifice of a generation. Frank Hurley at the Western Front. Frank Hurley's haunting photograph, single file marching to the front line, captures the grim reality of the Western Front during World War I. Taken in 1917, the image portrays a solitary line of soldiers trudging forward, their figures dwarfed by the desolate landscape. Hurley's powerful composition and stark realism offer a poignant glimpse into the sacrifices made by those who fought in the Great War. The photograph is currently housed at the State Library of New South Wales in Australia, Ipatiev House, in 1930. The Ipatiev House in 1928 stood as a haunted relic of a bygone era. Just a decade earlier, its walls had echoed with the final desperate cries of the Romanov family and their loyal servants. The once opulent mansion, now stripped of its grandeur, bore the invisible scars of that tragic night. It was a place of shadows, where the weight of history hung heavy in the air. While the world outside had moved on, the Ipatiev House remained a somber monument to a regime change that had been both brutal and transformative. 1st century BCE Roman shipwreck. Discovered in 1980 during routine canal maintenance, the shipwreck unveiled a meticulously preserved vessel dating back to the 1st century BCE. This extraordinary find offered archaeologists a unique window into the maritime world of ancient Rome. Laden with a cargo of 102 lead ingots and 28 boxwood trunks, the ship represented a bustling trade network that connected far-flung corners of the empire. The vessel's design, construction, and the items recovered painted a vivid picture of the technological prowess and economic vitality of this bygone era. The liberation of Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. The final remnants of the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp were eradicated on May 21, 1945, when British forces ordered the burning of the last standing hut. This drastic measure was taken to prevent the spread of disease, particularly typhus, which had ravaged the camp and caused countless deaths. The decision to destroy the physical structure of the camp, while seen as necessary at the time, has been a subject of subsequent debate. It erased tangible evidence of Nazi atrocities and deprived future generations of a direct connection to the horrors endured there. The world's first gym machine. Gustav Zander, a Swedish innovator, created the world's first gym machine in 1892. This groundbreaking invention utilized a pulley system with adjustable weights and springs to provide resistance for various exercises. Zander's machines were designed to strengthen muscles, rehabilitate injuries, and improve overall health. His concept of using machines for exercise was revolutionary for its time and laid the foundation for modern fitness equipment. Zander's legacy continues to influence gym design and rehabilitation practices today.